everybody. Welcome back to Chicago Hockey Radio's post-game shows. Justin Lynch and Lee Grossman, you're hearing the voice of Tassos Kirkos doing the intro right now. I'm a little under the weather, so these guys are holding down the fort. Thank you very much, Justin, for giving us your night off. I really appreciate that. Hawks lose. Turning it over to you guys. How you guys feeling?
Pretty terrible. That was brutal, man. Absolutely brutal. Absolute ass. It's funny. I said in the Friday post game, that was the worst Hawks game of the season. First blow of the year. Surely it can't get worse than that. It got worse. I think this game overtook Friday's game as the worst Hawks game of the season. Good start. You know, you lead off, set the tone with the Bedard goal in the power play. And that was the lone positive, just like how Friday's game, the lone positive was Bedard point. Today's game, the lone positive is Bedard goal. Everything else was terrible. Not the way you want to lead up, to the Winter Classic Tuesday. We have absolutely no momentum going into it. 4 straight losses. And it's a shame it came after 3 wins in a row. Since Seth Jones has returned to the lineup, the Blackhawks have not won a game. Is that a coincidence? I don't know. I think it might not be a coincidence because, I know Hawks fans like to drag on Seth, but you know what? I think the criticism has been warranted lately. He's been pretty terrible since he's been back. Not putting it all on him, but that is something to look at. Hawks fans will see that. But overall, just a general synopsis. Pretty brutal night. Pretty terrible.
Yeah, this was, I think, the worst game I can remember. Not just because we got absolutely pumped, but also, like, I don't think Bedard had a good game. I don't think Nazar had a good game. Our top 6 played horribly. Our defense was weak. Soderblom let in 5 goals, although they weren't really, any of them were really his fault. All around atrocious game, and we got the Winter Classic. I mean, thank God we got some experience tonight getting absolutely pumped on national television just so that, we're not first timers on Tuesday. But I mean, look, I know what the season is at this point. Like, what can we even hope for? Like, it's a tank. That's what it is. This team has not shown any progression. Yeah. They suck. They're old. They're slow. They're uninspiring. They're bad. I know that. But I wanted to win. I wanted to win the Winter Classic, and I'm scared about that now because I don't know if we're going to even have a chance.
At this point, I just want Hawks lose, but Bedard point or goal. Yeah, because I was hoping about that, right? Because if you win the Winter Classic, like as bad as the season is, at least you could say, well, at least we did that, right? At least we won the Winter Classic. At least Bedsy had a game. Now it's like we're going into it with zero momentum, not really much hope. And now it's like, well, shit, I just want to not get, embarrassed on national TV. We already have tonight. In a way, maybe it's just getting out of the way. Like you think about going to this game, we've lost 4 straight. Maybe we're due for a bounce back on Monday. Or Tuesday. I'm trying to be Mr. Positive here. I'm probably being delusional as usual. I like to be delusional. It's all we can have at this point. We can just hope for delusion. Because at the moment, this team is not showing really any signs of life, any signs of having themselves a game on Tuesday. I mean, the Blues aren't that good of a, they're mid, but still, any team against us, I think, is licking their chops, right? So, Stars too, they're a good team, obviously, but they've had kind of a brutal December, right? I mean, they're only 1 point, I think, tied for a playoff spot. Kind of have been underperforming a little bit, a few injuries and stuff, and they just absolutely blow the doors off of us. Funny enough, after we blew them out about a month ago too. So yeah, it's funny. I think this team is definitely, after that initial bump, has kind of come back down to earth now under Sorensen. It's showing, well, maybe it wasn't coaching, maybe it was a part of it, maybe we just suck, maybe it's just the players. I don't know, maybe it's just this roster construction, maybe the additions and the offseason moves just didn't pan out, they didn't work out, and this season is what it is. It's a tank. KD Davidson can deny it all he wants, but at this point, I think you just got to go all in and just the second half of the season and lock in that top 3 pick. James Higgins is looking pretty good in the World Juniors. Not to be Mr. Bearer of, I know we got a lot of season left here, but I'm just calling it like it is. This team's got nothing.
Yeah, that's so real.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like,
no, you're calling balls and strikes.
What's winning a few more games, getting a few more points? What is that? What is finishing 27th? What does that accomplish? What does that do? It doesn't do anything, right? At this point, I think we got to embrace the tank for a 3rd year here. I think that's the way it is. That's the way it's got to be. You got to get Bedsy that complimentary forward. Yeah, that's the way it's got to be. And then you got to make a big move in free agency. But we'll get to that later. Let's talk about this game.
over the course of this live stream, I am excited to see what you guys in chat are thinking. As that game was winding down, I was trying to get a little bit of a feeling of the pulse of Blackhawks Nation, just on Instagram and Twitter. And I saw a lot of people mad about Seth Jones, and I saw a lot of people mad at Kyle Davidson. And I saw some people mad about Sorensen. Look, after watching a game like that, yes, Kyle Davidson did not construct a Moneyball roster that's pushing for a wild card spot. This team is horrible several really bad acquisitions, and the list kind of goes on. But after watching this game tonight, that performance from like these players have to take some responsibility for this. Like
They're so uninspired.
Like just Bedard scored a goal, yes, but he was not very good tonight at all. Like nobody in our top six was. These guys, like we can't just give these guys passes just because, oh, Kyle Davidson constructed. It's like, yes, we know Kyle Davidson constructed a bad roster, but it doesn't mean that these guys can just go out and put up performances like that. Like that was lackadaisical and lazy. The thing that pissed me off so much is coming out of the second period, you're down what they were only down 3-1. And it's like you get one back early, you're still in that game. They come out and just give up us. But Bedard was really responsible for that goal.
I think you're thinking of the days are play.
No, not that one.
That was a different one.
First goal. No. The start of the third period, the Wyatt Johnson goal that went off of Duchesne and hit Johnson's leg. I thought Bedard was so weak there defensively, and to just give up a goal like that 10 seconds into the third period when you need to show some form of life, is just so bad because it's not even just on Bedard. It just speaks to the group. I think just like you can't come out and start a period like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of defense, yes, okay, defensively, Bedard didn't have the best game. But I thought offensively, he did have 4 shots on goal. Had the only goal of the night. I mean, I thought his game was it great? No, but I don't think he was really the problem tonight. I think the problem, and I saw before the game even started, TJ Brody paired up with Seth Jones before puck drop. I saw that. I'm like, well, I know how this game's going to go. TJ Brody is useless. He's a plug. He's terrible. That was probably easily Kyle Davidson's worst free agent signing. I saw him paired up with Seth Jones on the first D pair. I'm like, what are we doing here? And we sent down Korchinski, who was playing fine, by the way. I mean, development, I guess, sure. I don't know why we couldn't have sent down Crevier. I mean, he's just an AHL player in general, but it is what it is. Yeah, sent him down before the Winter Classic. That's all cool. I mean, if I were Kevin, I'd be pissed, but whatever. That's another topic. But what the fuck is TJ Brody doing paired with Seth Jones?
God.
They were so bad tonight.
I'm going to stop you there. Not paired with Seth. What is he doing on this team?
Yes.
What is he doing in the lineup?
Yes.
Why? What point?
Why has he not been scratched?
Dude, seriously. And it's like, why can't you have, I understand you send Kevin down, and I understand that him and Brody play opposite sides, but I would rather anyone be up here than TJ. It just makes no sense. The guy sucks. He's literally getting.
He can't play.
He can't play in this league, and it's like we're keeping him up for what? Because do you actually think that like constantly cutting your young players and sending them back and forth from the HL to the end, like do you think that's more beneficial than having them kind of just take their licks in the NHL? Like it makes no sense to me. Develop young players. Let the young players play.
Yeah, I'd rather see somebody like Isaac Phillips up here look good the few games he was up here. We haven't seen him since, or really anybody like Del Mastro, somebody down there. We have so much of a logjam of young defensemen. We got to figure out they're going to be a piece with us. I understand, for Kevin, I think the plan probably was to send him down eventually, right? The timing's a little odd to me, but I wasn't really shocked to see that. But it's like Brody. Sorensen loves him even more than Richardson did. He hasn't been scratched at all, and he's been playing like top pair of minutes. Like with Seth Jones, I think you probably got to reunite Jones and Vlasic too, by the way, because I would say I've been glazing Vlasic a lot. He has not been good the past few games. He was really bad in the game Friday. I think you got to reunite those two and get them back on track here, because if those two are cooking, then the defense in general we got nothing there. So we need to get those two back on track. And also, maybe swap them in the power plays too, because I thought Vlasic was doing a fine job in the first power play unit. Instead, they got Jones there, which I know he assisted on Bedard's goal, but otherwise the power play was terrible tonight. I mean, after the first one, we had absolutely nothing going. Jones is looking off Bedsy, somebody in the comments said it, and missing the net by 10 feet, putting muffins. So I'm not sure what he's doing there. He's quarterbacking the power play like, I don't know, insert bad quarterback here. It's bad. So yeah, get Vlasic back there, make him take it back, because he's not that guy, pal.
No, I've tried to defend Seth on this show numerous times, but it's getting pretty hard. Tonight was just another bad performance. He's looked really bad since coming back from injury. Did he come back a little too quick? I don't know. Did he need more? I don't even know how that works. Like, does your body kind of need to get acclimated? Because he's just looked atrocious.
Yeah, because he looked good, but at the start of the season before his injury, and I thought this take is aging great by me. I thought this Sorensen system would help him, because we've been seeing more offense from the D, right? So I thought he'd thrive in the system. Yeah, he's not been thriving so far. Maybe a part of it is this guy's he kind of missed out. And he's playing catch up, right, learning the system and stuff, but it's not been working out thus far. Yeah.
No, it's been bad, and the contract. We all know the contract is atrocious. it's just like I don't know what you do about it anymore. It's like you've kind of got it and you got to deal with it. And so yeah, I
Is
think
there
you're
a Truba fix?
I don't know. I don't know how you do that. You're gonna have to retain salary, or you're gonna have to offer up assets. You're gonna have to give up picks to move that guy. And again, just it's really is because of his contract. But yeah, he's been bad. And I think that your point, I think moving him and Vlasic together is just do that and just
They
leave
were
it.
good last year, and they've hardly
Like
played together this year for some reason.
don't
They're
mess with
actually
it. Let those guys play together. You can let them play 25 minutes a night together. It at least won't be this bad
yeah.
because Seth Jones without it's almost like he
I
needs like
think
that
I think I
defensively
think
reliable.
Vlasic was a big part of why his game was improving with the Hawks. He's played his best, games with the Hawks when he's been paired with Alex Vlasic. For some reason, we haven't really seen that much this season after it worked so well last year. Also, not to change topics here, but I'm surprised we haven't brought it up yet. The Hawks actually had a decent. If there was one positive, the first period was actually okay. I thought they came out looking pretty strong.
Yeah,
The game totally changed. Not to blame the refs here, but it wasn't great tonight. The Hawks didn't respond well to it though. But the Tyler Bertuzzi game misconduct. What do you think about that? Personally, I thought the misconduct was a little harsh. I don't know if that was a great. I mean, it was clearly a penalty, a major, but I don't know about the misconduct part of that. What do you know what you think about that?
I don't think there was any sort of malicious intent. Like I don't
Yeah, it
think
was clearly incidental.
he made it's not like he went in elbow first to the guy's
Yeah,
face. Like he hit him. It was like a reverse hit. He hit him with his butt. And
yeah.
then the arm came up a little bit as he was getting close to the boards. And I heard the commentators say something about it. And then also people on social media were saying that, like, oh, because he injured the player, that's like why he got
Yeah,
the
the
misconduct. It's like,
ESPN announcers, man, were like glazing the hell out of the Stars tonight. It's like we get the Hawks are bad, man. We don't need y'all and the Zebras on their side too. But yeah, they're like, oh, such a reckless hit there by Bertuzzi. I'm like, what? That was just like I was watching the Canada game. The exact same thing happened to Sam Dickinson. Then I was just like, oh, that was cool. He clearly didn't intend that. That's a cool hit. Same thing happens here. It's like, oh, Bertuzzi, gotta lock him up, man. I don't get it.
I just think that if like a player getting hurt based on a hit should not change the outcome of the penalty.
Stupid
Like that's
rule.
the stupidest thing in the world
Yeah.
because guys can embellish. And Blackwell was fine. He came out right away.
Blackhawks legend Colin Blackwell, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I thought it was a super soft misconduct, obviously. And dude, that fucked up the entire rest of the game.
Changed the
And I'm
whole
not
thing.
and I'm not blaming that on the like. Yes, it was a poor decision by the refs, but the way the guys responded to that was
It's terrible.
atrocious. It just
Yeah.
the effort. It was like they lost the game after that. So yeah, that's all on the personnel in the lineup, and I'm not blaming that on anybody else. I'm not blaming that on Kyle Davidson. I'm not blaming that on the referees. That was just a poor effort. You can't face a little bit of adversity and just shut off. It's
And it
not.
happens a lot with this team, man. That happens a lot where they let things pile on. Once they lose momentum, this team, it's gone. They're not getting it back, right? They just let things pile on. The Stars, too, it's like they controlled the rest of that game. It wasn't even close out there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just a frustrating game all around. We really did, like you talk about the commentators glazing the Stars, like we really did make Matt Duchene look like the best player in the world. And like I know he's having a pretty good year, but we made him look he was
Like prime
everywhere.
Duchesne.
Oh my gosh, literally like those last two periods he was dominating us. And yeah, I don't know. It, so much frustrating shit. Like I was about to just say that I thought the fourth line played pretty well, but it's like they didn't. And Khrushchev on the penalty kills kind of weird to me.
Because he's like one of the worst defensive players, and he's
Oh,
out there at the PK.
he's the worst defensive player in the NHL.
Mr. Negative 30 over there. Yeah.
He's
I would
the
say that's
worst.
one positive. The Hawks PK went 6 for 7 today. That's how undisciplined we were as a team. But yeah, the Stars power play definitely missing Pavelski, and he was there at the game too, watching, probably like, oh man, need me out there. But yeah, I mean, it didn't really matter though. Of course, Robertson scored too, like on their one power play goal. The announcer just kept saying, "Oh, this guy Robertson, he's having a cold streak here." Anytime the announcer starts saying stuff like that, like box it in, that player's gonna do something. And that's exactly what happened. They did the same thing with Bedard before the game even started too. Oh, he only has 9 goals this season. Well, how much assists does he have? They're always trying to spin some narrative over there.
Yeah, and also something else that I think is worth noting is Pat Maroon was kind of just like aimlessly skating around trying to hurt people and
Yeah,
just
the
like,
end of the game. What was going on there with him?
I don't know. He didn't really. He's not adding much to this roster, and I think unfortunately that's the case for several of these veterans that we've brought in. Um, should we go to some chat here?
Yeah, sorry, we haven't been reading the chat. Not that got much at the moment, but not Blackhawks related. Well, I mean, it is Blackhawks related. Patrick Kane, on a positive note, got his 1,300 point tonight. So I know that's not related to this game, but I mean, if we want to have a quick break from this disappointment, good to see Showtime get point number 1,300. That was cool. Yeah.
Yeah. way to take a positive out of this.
I mean, it's like the Sabres game, man. It's like we want to pretend it didn't happen, and we can. Oh, it's so depressing, dude.
This is one of those where I just like wonder what Kyle Davidson is feeling. Like things are. We had the new coach bump after Sorensen came in. We went on the 3-game win streak finally, but now we're on a skid and we look horrible. Like these past couple games have been blowouts. It's just making him look worse and worse and worse.
We look as bad as we have all season. We're not even in the games now. They're blowouts. At least before we were in the games. Now we're not even. That's not even happening.
And so now it's like, oh, it probably wasn't the coach. It might be. Shut up, Tassos. It's probably that this team sucks that you constructed and put together and brought in 7+ players in the offseason. And you said that things were going to be different this year and that the team has to be better. This team has to be better. This team's not better.
If anything, like they might be worse. This team might be worse than last year. I'm not sure how that's possible, but seriously, I mean, they're on, I think win percentage wise, it's probably about the same, maybe slightly better, but it's certainly not on track to be. I mean, right now we just look lost. I mean, there's just no direction right now.
Yeah, you're gonna win the lottery again. You're
Hawks for Sharks again, 2.0.
dude, and it wasn't so in like he's got to face some sort of, I don't know, repercussions. I don't know if he's going to get fired, but it's like you said that this season was going to be better. And it's like, just think about the state. Like, thank God, low key, thank God we have the Winter Classic. Like, I know we're kind of scared.
It's a distraction.
Pumped. But yeah, what a distraction it is from what is a horrible season from every single metric you look at it. Like, think about how frustrating it is to be a Blackhawk fan right now. Like, this team sucks. We're regressing, honestly, from last year. We were promised a better team, a more watchable team. We don't have one really.
It's more frustrating to watch. I mean, I had more fun watching last year's team.
And it's also impossible to watch this team. Like the CHSN thing, I finally get CHSN, and then now it's like, oh shit, I got to get on ESPN to watch this game. ESPN Plus. You better have ESPN Plus. You can't just have CHSN because you also need ESPN Plus to watch this team. And then you also need TNT if you want to watch them on Tuesday. It's like you need to have every single fucking streaming service that's dropped in the past 7 years to watch this team play. It's affecting attendance record. I mean, the attendance has been better, I think, this month, probably because of the holidays, and that's just kind of what.
Unless you have the Russian streams, which, speaking of Russia, if we want another positive here, our boy Roman Kantsarov is absolutely lighting it up over there. 17 points in 18 games, better U20 production than guys like Kirill Kaprizov. At least we have him to look forward to. Shout out Roman Kantsarov. That's my boy over there. Anyway, back to what you were saying.
No, I was going to just glaze Roman Kantsarov for a second too. This kid is unreal. He's a point per game pretty much in the KHL right now. The game this weekend, he scored like a goal with like a minute left,
and then the shootout winner,
the game, and then have the shootout winner. Like this guy is literally, he's 20 years old and he's lighting up the KHL. I was just going through like other Russian studs that have come through the NHL through the past like 10, 15 years, and his stats are on par or better with all of them. Like this kid is going to be a beast, and we need to do everything we can in our power to claw him to the city of Chicago as soon as possible.
It's funny. We talk about distracting ourselves with the Winter Classic. I love distracting ourselves with prospect talk. And to transition to that, where the World Series is going on right now, we got some Hawks prospects. Yuri Felkman, Oliver Moore, both been playing well too. Watching the U.S. games. Unfortunately, they lost to Finland today, but Moore had assists. I think he has 2 assists in the tourney. He's looking good. I've been watching him. Like the production will come. He's so fast, so fun to watch. Like we have him to hopefully look forward to next year, maybe. So that's the important thing, right? Things suck now. Ice Hogs though, back-to-back wins. They're looking a lot better. So yes, the Hawks suck, but it's important to remind people, it's not everything, right? We still have a bright future, good prospect pool, as long as we don't screw up the development and the trajectory. Yeah.
Yeah, and Nick Lardis, who was left off of the Canadian roster, had a goal and assist yesterday as well. So he's been balling up. We have so many studs that are coming up, but that doesn't change the fact that this team that was put together this year is absolutely atrocious and was not what we were promised.
Oh no, James Hagens anyway.
Yeah, no.
Porter Martone, Michael Misa. Oh no. We're getting
honestly,
a Betsy a complimentary forward. This sucks.
I don't know about you, and I know Tassos.
I think this is necessary, man. Like I sorry to kind of bounce off that point. I know this sucks. Don't get me wrong. It's frustrating. It's not what KD promised, but like honestly, in the grand scheme of things, the long term, I think this isn't necessarily a bad thing. In the short term, it sucks, but like I think being bottom of the league this year, we need to be. Since we didn't draft Demidov, it's like okay, now we got to get that forward in this draft, or if not the draft, free agency, right? So it sucks, but I think just keep your eyes on the long term prize here. It's not a bad thing.
And that's what I've done. I hate to say I'm not checked out in the fact that like I'm not going to be still following and like somewhat rooting for this team, but it's like I'm chasing James Hagens. I'm chasing the first overall now. That's what my goal.
The goal.
This team is now.
Yeah,
because you're not salvaging this season. It's bad. In this offseason, we're gonna have to. I think we're gonna also have to do something in free agency.
be aggressive. Yeah.
I don't know what the hell you're gonna do about TJ. Like there's certain situation like TJ Brody. That's something
that's a 2-year deal. Is absolutely diabolical.
You have him for another year. Like I don't know what you might have to put him on waivers.
He's a liability out there, dude. Like he's an actual liability. He might be worse than Tenorti Zaitsev combined in the third pair last year.
But I do think you're going to have to go out in free agency this offseason and bring in, if not a superstar, at least another talented player that you can have on your first line.
No mid additions. No like, oh, we're doing something here. Look, we signed Tyler Bertuzzi and Teuvo Teravainen, Hawks nostalgia to make you guys happy. No, an actual big fish to complement Betsy. That's what we need. A major addition. None of this, little stuff.
Yeah. And you should have 2 high picks. Like you should look to trade to get higher up was it the Maple Leafs pick that we have?
Yeah, Maple Leafs, yeah.
You gotta bump that up higher. You gotta figure out a way to get higher up because this season has been so bad from like a managerial standpoint. They have to do something. This
can't happen again next year. If we're talking the same position next year, then the rebuild is not on track. We're failing, right? Like next year's got to be different. It's got to be better. There's got to be an actual progression next year. That's totally fair to say.
But also like just fuck like worrying about getting better next year. Like you have to apologize to me for what you did to me this year. Like that's what I'm like, go do something big. And then yes, then we need to, like I feel like I need to be thanked.
Katie's not gonna admit he was wrong. His ego is too large.
I'm worried that might be the case, but yeah, I think you have to bring in a very talented player, and you need to ace the draft now because what you just did this season is completely unforgivable. And I think that Kyle Davidson is going to be on the hot seat next year if he doesn't do the things we just mentioned in this offseason.
It feels like the Hawks and Bears share a few parallels here. I've seen Bears fans really start critiquing Ryan Poles and his roster construction, and now I think it's fair to start critiquing KD. I think we still have his draft picks and stuff still need to show up here and stuff, and like his long-term vision. I think it's still on the right track. I still believe in his plan, but it's like eventually you got to start seeing some results here, right?
What the fuck is the deal with this KFC spicy chicken biscuit?
What's Raven yapping about in the chat over there?
I think it's Tassos.
Tassos.
I do not know the Chick-fil-A spicy chicken biscuit. Is that something that like fans were supposed to get if we won the game, or if we scored. I don't know what
All
that's
right, all
about.
right. I'll step in here quickly, as shitty as I sound. So, hold on. Every time the Hawks score a first period goal, which isn't often this season, your local Chick-fil-A provider in the Chicagoland area, if they are a participating member, you get a free Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit or a spicy chicken biscuit in the morning.
Jesus Christ.
Well, there we go. We got positive
Sounds
there.
like it sounds
Hawks
like
win.
it sounds like Tassos needs a fucking spicy chicken biscuit.
Yeah, get well soon.
to
Do we
clear up
want
his
to
sinuses.
transition to more? I mean, because it is, I mean, all about this week, the Winter Classic. Winter Classic. I mean, I'm sure we'll have time on the Monday show and the pregame show. But how are we feeling, man?
Dude, I mean, not good. At least we have a day off and they can go meditate and think about everything they've done wrong the
We have a
past.
lot to reflect on.
But I think if you get trounced at the Winter Classic with everyone watching, I think bad things are going to happen. Like that can't happen.
No.
Just especially after all the things I've just mentioned of what this fan base has gone through. If you got all these people paying a plane ticket to go to this fucking game and then you put up a sorry performance like that, the motivation better be there because it wasn't there tonight. If they get trounced, like I could see people getting scratched, somebody getting fired. Like this is like big enough to where, because we've been talking about it all season. They've been marketing the shit out of this game. They've put all their resources into this fucking game and none of them into the roster. And if it doesn't go well Tuesday, I think bad things are going to happen. I don't know.
NHL trying to gas it up, man. They posted a highlights compilation from the Blackhawks this season. A few people making jokes about that. They really had to scramble to get anything here to market this team. Yeah, that's very true. But on the other end, it's like if this game goes well, it's like all of a sudden the second half of the season looks a bit more exciting, right? Maybe they can ride that momentum, right? So I do think it's a big game. I know it's only one game, but it is the Winter Classic. It is this team's Super Bowl. So hopefully they show a little more inspiration, a little more. Put a watchable product on the ice there because the last few games have not been that.
Somebody in chat asked, what is the roster? What does the lineup look like next year? It better be younger than it was this year. You better
Too many unks.
You better not have these unks. And if you do, they better not be playing any sort of serious roles. Like they better be like rotational players that play a minority, like less than 50% of the games. Because I mean, you can't have guys like Maroon and Smith and Brody. You can't have these guys eating up minutes that now some of these guys are like, you got guys like Landon Slaggert, who's like, I don't know, like what, 20?
Why can't he be on this team right now, man?
He should be like, even if I don't think Landon Slaggert is going to be a top six stud.
He's a bottom six guy.
Yeah. But I think that he's going to be a serviceable bottom six guy. That's somebody that should be playing on this team. So hopefully younger. Hopefully we have James Higgins or whoever.
Levshinov hopefully on the team next year. I will say I've been watching all the Ice Hogs games. I know some people have been calling for him to be called up this year. He is not ready for the NHL. I've been watching the Ice Hogs games. He's shown glimpses of promise and stuff. You could see why the Hawks took him at 2, but he's a ways away from NHL action. I will say that. I mean, pretty much everything I've seen thus far this season. Not to keep being Mr. Negative here, but watching what Demidov is doing at Russia and watching what he's doing in the Ice Hogs. I will say I was thinking we should pick Demidov, and I still think that should have been the case, but I do hope Artie proves me wrong. I think he's going to be a good defenseman for us, but hopefully we'll see him next season. Maybe give him a couple games end of this year, but I think he's got a lot of development, a lot of work to do before we see him with the Hawks.
Yeah, I'm okay with him taking this year and playing there, but yeah, hopefully by next season TJ Brody is not playing because we have him to be that
play our future, not these unks. Yeah, no.
So to answer your question, hopefully younger and faster, and less temporary players, more guys,
real Blackhawks.
Yeah, let's have like 80% of the roster, 80% of the lineup be real Blackhawks next year, and not just like these guys that are here today, gone tomorrow.
So we need a positive season next year, man. Like, because it is. Look, I'm not one to feed into those fake media narratives of like Bedsy being unhappy and stuff. But like, if this season goes the same way next year, That's not great. We need to see some real progression. Need a positive last season of his last DLC, right? We want to get him locked up here and happy and see, the plan, the future coming to fruition, not staying flat for 3 years.
And also, even if he stays, like that could negatively affect his contract negotiations. Like he's not going to be like, itching and clawing to take any sort of discount to benefit the team if the team sucks and the general manager has proven that he can't help him out in any way. So yes, next year has to be. I've said it before and I'll say it again. This is going to be our last like serious draft where we're trying to
Last tanking season. We're not tanking next year. I don't care. I know Gavin McKenna is that guy, but like seriously, to year 4, hell no. We got to start, producing
next year. You have to be pushing for the playoffs. Like even it's fine. You're probably not
just in the mix. You're not going to make it. Just be in the mix.
But you have to try. You have to,
make an effort.
Has to be clear that, you're trying to get to the postseason. Because even just like a little bit of progression is not going to be good enough this year because of the reason you just said. It's Bedard's last year on his ELC, and things have to improve. Yep. If not, Kyle Davidson needs to get fired as soon as possible. And that's how I feel.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. But yeah, I think Tassos mentioned it. A lot to look forward to this week. I mean, look, you all know it. I mean, if the NHL hasn't told you enough, if ESPN hasn't told you enough, if you're living under a rock, the Winter Classic is happening Tuesday. We got, normal Monday show tomorrow. We got a special Tuesday episode before the Winter Classic to look forward to as well. Obviously we're doing the post game for that. So yeah, a lot to look forward to this week. And yeah, I'll let Lee do the other stuff.
Yeah, no, we appreciate you guys all tuning in after a game like that. Be sure if you haven't yet to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Give us 5 stars on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We really appreciate all that stuff. But yes, we need to see something in this Winter Classic game. But yeah, appreciate you guys all coming out, hanging out with us. I think that's it from me. I don't know if you have anything else.
Yeah, no, I think we'll have plenty more time tomorrow to digest this game and transition to the Winter Classic. I think we've pretty much beat this game to the ground, and we'll continue to do so tomorrow. But yeah, hopefully we'll see a more positive Winter Classic. I mean, I'm sorry, I know I've been very, it's hard to be in a good mood after a game like that, but we'll be back tomorrow. Yeah.
And we're going to be, for everybody that's going to be in the area, hanging out during the Winter Classic, the studio's in Wrigley. So I'm not, because I'm going to be at work, but all the boys are going to be hanging around. You're going to the game.
That's right. I will be there. Blackhawk Memes will be there. I think Tassos, he's going to be there too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of us will be there. We have a lot planned. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll do some, meetups as usual, I'm sure. And it'll be a fun experience. Everybody's going to be there. Big game. So it is a distraction, right? If the Hawks have a big game, then, we'll be a lot more happier and festive heading into the new year, right? Let's end 2024, a tough year on a high note, and get some momentum going the next year.
And then, yeah, we got shows coming the next 2 mornings. Tomorrow morning, the regular Monday show. And then we're going to be doing a little pregame on Tuesday. So sorry, my TV just came on. But yeah, thanks to everyone so much for listening. And we will see you guys tomorrow morning.
We will be there.